Hello writers, Mrs. Damazi here, really excited to do some more brainstorming about adapting our own fairy tales. Remember to click subscribe so you know every time that I upload a new video, and I would also appreciate any and all feedback and ratings. Let's get started on today's lesson. Yesterday, we were talking about how we need to practice storytelling our fairy tales, and then we have to research some mentor texts so that we know what other authors have done and ways that they've changed their story. I told you that one of my favorite adapted fairy tales is Prince Cinder's, and that this change of making the main character a boy instead of a girl made a lot of other changes. For instance, he couldn't lose a glass slipper. Instead, he lost his pants. Oh my goodness, that makes it so crazy. But when you think about all the changes that have to happen from one change, it's kind of like a domino effect. For instance, if I wanted to write a book about the Three Little Pigs, but instead of it being the Three Little Pigs, because we don't really see pigs every single day, maybe we could make it something that we have in our own homes, like a pet, like a hamster. The Three Little Hamsters. Oh my goodness. But then it wouldn't be a wolf. It would be a cat. The Three Little Hamsters and the Big Bad Cat. And instead of saying I'll huff and puff, maybe he'll scratch and hiss and scratch and hiss. Oh, that would be really funny. But do you see how just one change, all I did was change the characters? That leads to so many other changes as well. So your change improves the story and is a domino and leads to so many other changes. But before you start thinking about what change you would want to make in your adapted fairy tale, let's look at what some other changes were that some of these other fairy tale writers that were adapting these fairy tales did. So as I share my screen, think about the ways that you noticed that your author changed your fairy tale. And then I'm going to show you that all of the ideas that you probably thought of either have to do with changing the character or changing the event. For instance, you could change the character from a boy to a girl or a girl to a boy. You could change the fancy godmother to a less fancy one. You could change a person to an animal. And then events. These are just some ideas. You could change one of the events from something old-fashioned like a ball to something more modern like a disco or a dance party. Or you could change the setting to something completely different. Instead of it being in a castle with royalty, it could be at a beach. So today I want you to think about how you are going to change and improve your story. So you're going to decide on a big change, one big change. That means you're changing the character or you're changing the setting. That's your big change. But when you make your big change, you want to make sure that your change leads to other changes. So I am going to be thinking right now about what change I want to make. I love the story of Cinderella, and I feel really confident about that story, and I've practiced telling that story a lot, and I've read a lot of adapted fairy tales about Cinderella, so I think I want to do that. And instead of it being Cinderella, I think her name's still going to be Cinderella, but I don't think she's going to live in the country, and I don't think she's going to be looking for a prince. I think she's going to live in the city, and she really likes something, like she wants to help somebody or something in the world. Maybe she wants to help save dolphins, or maybe she really cares about our planet and wants to save the trees, or maybe she wants to pick up trash. Maybe she wants to help save her city from trash. And then that would change, because then she wouldn't go to the ball and meet a prince. She'd have to go to a trash brigade or a trash party. And then the fairy godmother couldn't be the fairy godmother. Maybe she's the fairy trash mother. And the stepsisters wouldn't be going to a ball, but they wouldn't really want to go to a trash party. So I need to think about that. Do you see how that one big change led to so many other changes? As I share my screen with you again, I want you to think about how you're going to take your one big change and have that make all these other changes. Watch how I brainstormed today. Instead of Cinderella living in the country and going to the ball, she is going to live in the city. And she is going to a litter pickup meeting. So her motivation and what she wants is changing, and the event and the setting is changing. So here are the big 3 things that are going to change from my humongous big change. Because she wants to go to a litter meeting, the evil stepsisters might be getting ready for something else. Maybe a caution taping party. I don't know if you do those, but my friends in 3rd grade love to pretend that they're caution taping each other's houses. Or maybe they're going to another huge party, or maybe they wouldn't want to help at all. They only want to have fun. I thought of that a little bit later, so I had to add that on a sticky note. Here's another thing that has to change. Because she's not wearing a ball gown and glass slippers, she might need to lose something else. Maybe a work glove, I thought. Maybe a work glove. And then the last thing I thought was because she doesn't want to fall in love with the prince, she might need something else she wants. Maybe to be president of the litter brigade or the litter party. I wrote all of my ideas in my writer's notebook. You can use any kind of notebook you want, but whatever notebook you choose, make sure you have enough pages in it so that you can brainstorm and draft and revise and edit in it. Here is today's to-do list. Remember that when great writers plan their fairy tale adaptations, they decide on a change that will improve the story. Then they make sure the change leads to other changes for the story to fit together. Change the character or change the setting, okay? Decide on a change to improve your story, character, or event, and the setting plays a huge part in your event. Brainstorm 3 ideas of how your big change will lead to other changes. The materials that you need are your writer's notebook for brainstorming and a sticky note or scrap paper to take notes when you're researching or to add in extra information when you're writing. Okay, writers, I know you're so excited to make that really big change to one of your favorite fairy tales. Make sure that big change leads to other changes, and it's like a domino effect. Have fun writing, have fun brainstorming. See you next time.